This episode of Unspoken Words was recorded live at the Telltales Evening of Storytelling and Poetry, held regularly at the Townhouse in Falmouth, Cornwall. Now, for some years I have secretly fantasized about the term wetware. Ever since someone explained to me that it was the latest thing, kind of conveniently modern way to refer to the body, especially in relation to all the other wear things that have become integral parts of our lives. Hardware, software, firmware, underwear, outerwear, those sorts of things. And like so much of what we can't seem to help associating things with, wetware, for all its post-human philosophical attributes, is often simply used as a catch-all innuendonic term for kinky kinds of technologically enhanced sex. Innuendonic, I hear someone say, because it's a term I just made up. It's like being sardonic or ironic. If you're insinuating double entendres willy-nilly, so to speak, into everything you say, then you're being innuendonic. And we can all give it a try after the show. Anyway, because I can't help thinking that if I were to say, I'm going to do an unspoken word episode on the word sex, it would be seen as an example of the lowliest of low exploitations, a brazen attempt at attracting attention to myself, and just plain embarrassing for a person of my standing in the community. Besides which, who would want to listen anyway? Me going on about sex and how I haven't had it for... That was the real reason I decided not to do a show about the word sex, because it needs more research. So I thought, well, wet then. Wet in its innuendonic usage, when we all know that I'm really alluding to sex. Sex has been with us only slightly less longer than the more primitive living cell formations that life first began in. Ones that simply split or reproduced asexually or by mitosis, meaning without any sex at all. These unsexed, unmating, ungendered, but not necessarily unimportant early forms of life first began to populate the planet billions of years ago. They were the protocell life forms that formed our planet's atmosphere with the exhaust gases and waste products of their lives. Which means we didn't so much form out of primordial soup as from primordial poo. Gases and elements which pretty much still surround us today, where life continues to evolve in an atmosphere comprised of the farts and excretions of single-celled life forms. Having said that, many of those early primordial life forms are still with us, which just goes to show that sex isn't everything. Plenty of life forms are quite happy being single parents, splitting into two of exactly the same single cells, which become 4, 8, 8, 16, 16, 64, indicating that sex, for all it may be more fun than mitosis or cell division, isn't necessarily necessary to life as we know it. Somewhere along the line, sex and the first mating rituals developed way back in the midst of all that primordial excrement and effluence. In fact, determinist proto-cell anthropologists argue that if sex hadn't evolved, some bored single cells probably would have invented it anyway. Hey man, how's it going? Okay, I guess. Sliming along, you know. But I don't know. It's just so repetitive. I mean, splitting up and splitting up again. It's also casual, you know? I mean, what does it all mean? Isn't there more to life than mitosis? Oh, hang on. I feel a cell division coming on. Oh. sorry, you were saying. Well, listen, I need to level with you. Nuclei to nuclei. Yeah, sure, we're all in this primordial ooze together. Would it be crazy for me to say that I just can't get you out of my cytoplasm? I mean, it's like you've invaded my cell wall or something. I just think, we could make beautiful organisms together. Well, gee, I don't know. Hey, get off me. No, hey, get off my membrane. Somebody get this genetic maniac off of me. Stop, will you just, don't, stop, don't, stop, don't, stop. Anyway, the first sex act was not a fruity product of Adam getting a banana over some melons that Eve grabbed off the only tree in God's entire allotment that had a sign nailed to the trunk that said, you can have anything you want in paradise. Anything, absolutely anything except the fruit of this tree. This means you and your boyfriend. No, the first sex act was engaged in long before, in some forgotten time zone of the past, by two consenting, paramecium-sized, same-sex, transsexual, hermaphrodite, ladyboy bacterium. I swear I couldn't tell, man! And maybe that's where wetware got started. And today, well, we're sort of how far it's got. And how we evolved from one sex to plural sexes may never be precisely known. However, we are mostly wet. We are liquid people. At the end of the day, some 80% of the body is comprised of water. And we like our fluid relationship with the world. The flows, the seepage, the sweat, the perspiration, the rushes of blood, the waves of emotion, eye-watering, mouth-watering. When the body gets going, things can get pretty messy.